Masters here and the owner, and then this is John French, who oversees the brew Brats operations and also is married to John's daughter.
And his title is beer analyst.
Okay.
A beer analyst. That's what we need.
Now, we can, in fact, I kind of planned on us going up to the wine shop so you could see the different wines and the different foods. However, lunch is like ready now. So I'll talk a little bit and we can just go right into lunch. All right? And then we'll take it from there. Time-wise, when do we need to leave by?
It's whenever I think ready to go. We have really no constraints. An hour,
Okay, so you don't have an appointed time at another location?
No, we are all yours.
I got you all afternoon.
Yeah.
We're probably just
Terrific.
Here to stay.
I won't be rushed then.
It depends how much we drink. We might be here forever.
Speaking of that, let's move right into our 4 beers. We have on the left, we have what's called Frog Hollow Pale Ale. And then we have Gully Washer IPA. And then Bristol, these are all under the Bristol Springs brand, Turtle Crawl Porter. And then finally, we have our 4th beer is always what we call a rotational beer, whatever is seasonal, whatever is available. You might notice that it's green and it's Irish ale, so we're getting ready.
You were the first winery in the world to produce Traminer wine.
Yes.
To produce what?
Traminer wine.
What was
Okay,
that?
I'm going to talk about that when, do you know of the wine Gewürztraminer?
I love.
Gewürztraminer.
I love.
Gewürztraminer is one parent of Traminer. The other parent is Johannsheim 23416. You don't want to remember that, but anyway, I'll give you a little bit of that history. Okay, Gewürztraminer in our climate does not do particularly well, particularly in a year like this, because it tends to be what we call winter tender. So way back in the 1960s, the plant breeders decided to make a cross of 2 varieties, one variety being the Gewürztraminer and the other being what we call a French-American varietal that had good hardiness. So they crossed the 2 varieties, made a baby, as I call it, makes it simple that way. And then they evaluated all these little babies over a number of years and started in 1960. I think the vine was crossed, so the seed was produced in 66. And the first vine was planted in the Geneva Experiment Station in 68. I tasted the wine in 1985, and I said, wow, I have to have this one. And so not that I wanted to be first, but in 1996, we were the first winery in the world to introduce a commercial Traminer. And it was an auspicious occasion, not just for that, but the whole world has, I'm not sure if it's every year, every other year, they have what is called the Cool Climate Symposium. In 1996, that happened to take place in Rochester, New York, so that's when the Traminer was introduced. But
Root beer and some beer. And what are these condiments?
these are some of, pretty much all local. This one is Woodstead Everything Sauce. It's kind of a little on the hot side. That's made by a local purveyor. The Sherried Wine Barbecue Sauce is one of our products. Regular ketchup. Regular mustard, and then champagne garlic, which is one of our products. And pub beer mustard.
And what are we going to eat here?
This, are we all one kind of broth? Oh, you've got half.
Half Bristol, half sherry.
Half Bristol, half sherry bratwurst?
Yeah. We have the pale ale.
Yeah, it's our
And you make it? You make it?
We have it made for us about, well, they're made for us in Canandaigua, New York by Hartman's Old World Sausage. and they've been making the sherry wine sausage for us for about 18 years now.
Wow.
It features the Arbor Hill sherry wine barbecue sauce already in the broth, so it's a sweeter broth. Delicious. And then the other broth is the Bristol broth, which is one that they make exclusively for us. And that one you'll notice a nice herb flavor to. And the overtones of the oregano and the garlic is what you'll pick up on that one. That's
Thank you.
exclusive.
And is that sauerkraut?
It is not just sauerkraut, it is the Wine Master's sauerkraut. And it's a most unique sauerkraut. For those that don't like sauerkraut, they're likely to like this. And for those that like sauerkraut, this will take it to a whole new level.
Is there a sauerkraut festival up here somewhere?
There is. There is. We have not gone to it yet, but probably this year we will.
I don't know if you can tell me though.
What?
What's in that kraut?
Oh, sure. It's actually on our website, thegrapery.com. It is sauerkraut, obviously, sauteed mushrooms, our Niagara white wine, so it's the Arbor Hill Niagara white wine, peppercorns, juniper berries, pineapple, and bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah, everything's good with bacon in it.
Oh my God, that's a delicious, delicious sauerkraut.
Great.
Oh my God.
Great. Well, I'm glad. We actually, because of the demand or the popularity of it, we actually have had to start putting it into retail containers for people to take home. So,
Great.
yep,
Are you sending it out also anywhere?
we do.
Mailing it?
Yep. Oh yeah. Come holiday times, we probably sent 2 to 3 cases of it off to the different,
Okay.
jar at a time, 2 jars at a time. One woman wanted it to be in her grandson's stocking at Christmas. So, yep, we absolutely do that.
Beautiful. What was that website again?
Thegrapery.com.
Spell that. Great.
The THE Grapery. G as in George, R-A-P like Paul, E-R-Y.com.
Beautiful. Thanks.
You're welcome.
This diorama was actually produced in 1989 to depict Naples at that point in time. And the reason for it was Naples, New York, of course, tricentennial. Bicentennial, 1789, the village was incorporated in 1789, so in 1989 is when they celebrated the 200th anniversary. So what you see in 3D is the east side of Main Street, and what you see painted down below is the west side of Main Street. Now the interesting part of the story is that it was a local artist, her name was Kit Cordy, who did this, and all of the buildings that you see are actually made from foam core, so she painted on foam core. And then the local furniture store had a lot of boxes from dishwashers and freezers and so forth and so on, and that was the base. It sat on those old boxes, all right? So she was very frugal in her production of the piece. Then, so we had the celebration in September or October of that year. I saw her at a social event probably 3 or 4 months later and told her how much we enjoyed the piece, and everybody did, and it was wonderful, and all those kinds of things. And she said, John, it's kind of a sad story. And I said, sad? No, this is beautiful. Well, she said, it's in the village hall, or the town hall, and the town has told me that I can't keep it there, so it has to be moved. And she said, I've checked with several people in the village, and yes, they all like it, but nobody has a place for it. And she says, I have until June to find a place for it, or it's going to the dump. So I said, well, Kit, it'll never go to the dump. And this was like January, February, and I said, it belongs in Naples, so you continue to try and place it someplace in Naples. But if you get to the 1st of June and you've not been able to place it, then you just call John, because I have a place for it.
Aww.
So now you know the rest of the story.
It's beautiful.
Did this come with this guy over there on the corner?
Well, he didn't come with it. You want me to take him out of there?
No, I'm just asking, just a little, professional
It looks
commentary.
familiar though.
Here, living in South Bristol, we take our refuse over to the transfer station, or what some would call the dump. But one man's trash is another man's treasure. So one day, John, about 5 years ago would be at this point, easily, maybe more like 6, went to the dump, and someone had thrown out some pretty respectable looking chandeliers. So, yeah.
Both of them.
So he brought them home here to Arbor Hill, and they went up into the attic of the carriage barn where we're sitting right now. And in July of 11, when we opened, those light fixtures came down, and all we had to do was plug them in because every light bulb worked,
Oh, wow.
and they fit the motif perfectly. So.
It fits with the ceiling and the
Yeah.
whole thing.
So the other cute story is, if you look to the front door, there are 2 oval pictures.
Yeah.
And one day, it was a Saturday night, and John's wife, Katie, hollered me as I was walking past the table where she was sitting, and she said, "John, are those 2 pictures from your mother's house?" Because we were cleaning out my mother's house, and she had never seen these pictures before. I said, "Well, no, Katie, those are not from my mom's house. Your husband actually was able to obtain those. Yeah, John was able to obtain those, and so we put them up." Well, where did he get them? We got them at the dump. So we don't know who those people are, but they hang on the wall quite nicely.
Don't they? And I was going to put a sign down below which said something
It's
like,
not my favorite.
"Do you know these people?" Because we don't.
Oh, that's the flame here.
And then one day, I overheard some people say, "Isn't that nice that they have family pictures up?"
I love that.
Yeah, and I said, "Well, I guess I'm not going to put anything up there. I'll just let people make their own assumptions."
Yeah.
But John didn't tell you the picture on the left, the smaller one, is actually your mother, right?
Correct.
When she was
That is my
baby.
mother's. Yeah.
So we do have family on the wall.
And she would like nothing better than to spend her days and evenings in a pub. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She liked her wine a great deal, and she liked her beer.
I'll get you
She liked her dark beers.
Could you talk about the environmental? I read as you came in here about how you are very green.
Yes.
So what's the history? I read how you're, the solar panels and things like that. So this whole place is run on very little electricity, or what?
I'll defer to John for the better
Well,
answer.
right now, we have 40 panels on the roof. And we had originally anticipated
How many panels?
40 panels,
On the
40
roof.
on the roof. And we had originally anticipated that would cover about 80 to 90% of our electrical usage. However, we increased the size of the business, went to weekends and so forth, and so it ended up that we were providing about 40% of the use instead of the 80%. So within the next 2 weeks, we will be adding 30 more panels. And even at this level, that will provide approximately 75 to 80% of the electricity that we use in the building. Most of the electricity goes for the cold rooms where the sausages and the beer and the wine are stored, plus the dishwasher. And we also use for cooking the brats, we use paninis because they cook very fast, but they are electric, so they use quite a bit of power. And one of the there's a real good reason for this, because if you, with U.S. codes, fire hazard, that kind of thing, if you have an open flame, then you have to have this very, very expensive, what they call an ANSEL system, which covers the whole cooking area, and it has fire extinguisher things in it and all that. So to not have to do that, that's why I went electric. So that's one of the reasons our electric use is up. But once we get this installed, we should be covering 75%. Now, on the days when we're not operating, then today is an excellent day for solar generation. Two reasons. One, it's very sunny, and two, it's cold. And
So the heat makes a difference?
yes, the heat, the lower the temperature, the better the transmission of electrical power is. When it gets warm, it doesn't transfer as well. So what you really want for solar energy is a bright sunny day and it being very cold. And we have both of those today.